Okay.
and Scatterboo.
Okay. On the surface, I'd rather have McCaffrey. It's similar to the deal I just made.
Hmm.
You made this deal?
I did. I
Okay,
had
let's talk
CMC.
about
I had
your line of
CMC.
thinking.
So my line of thinking is this: I'm 1-3, right? And I have like the rest of my position players are like just trash. Like they're just not doing anything. So I can either A, keep rolling them out and still get my points and still lose every week, or I now have solidified my tight end spot. I have a upside at running back, right? And Ricky Pearsall at the he's doing pretty well. He's injured, but he's doing pretty well.
So I like the deal knowing your situation that you're in. You can't start. You have no flex guys to start
Nope.
whatsoever. You're starting
Oh, and by
Ramondre
the way,
Stevenson.
I also
Yeah.
lost
Lamb,
Tillman.
Tillman,
Yeah.
Lamb,
Anyways.
Mooney.
Yeah. And that's the thing, yeah, too, because I have some guys on IR, right? So I got CD. He's going to come back eventually. We're like 1 week away from George Kittle coming back. And Ricky Pearsall is just trying to get me over. I mean, I also have Sutton. So that's not bad. He's good. He's not like top 10, but he's definitely, I would say, top 15.
You know what? Knowing the position you're in, I like the deal more than initially from it being in a vacuum. All right, deal. I have another deal for you. It's time to grade the trade.
All right.
Team 1 gives up James Cook.
Ooh.
It acquires from Team 2 Emeka Egbuka and Jameson Williams. What are your thoughts about that deal?
I'm sorry. Did you just say Emeka Egbuka and who?
And Jameson Williams for James Cook.
That's it?
That deal just went down. That's right. For the number 1 running back.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
That wow. That's a ridiculous trade. Yeah, whoever got James Cook won the lottery because I'm sorry, Egbuka, great player. Not diminishing him, but Chris Godwin's coming back and Mike Evans is eventually going to come back. So I see Egbuka's like production kind of going down a little, he's going to go down. I mean, there's too many mouths to feed there. Jameson Williams is interesting. I guess I could see the upside, but he's definitely still that boomer bust guy. So like, I don't understand why you would trade one of the top running backs for those two guys. But hey, I mean, I can't really talk. I'm in a boat and I'm trying to bail out the water, and my shoulder got injured while trying to bail it out. Just like, oh fuck, so I'm one arm man, just like fuck, come out, guys, please, Jesus. I hope I can find the waiver wire. So yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah, man,
that's insane.
It's fantasy football for you,
which is crazy because running backs in general this season are like scarce. Like it is very hard to find a productive running back, right, that isn't plagued by a committee, right, which Cook is not, or CMC, right? Like they're the bell cow, right? And I feel like wide receiver is pretty deep. I don't know, like James, I mean, I feel like could have got a little bit more. I feel like for James Cook, like, dude, you could ask for a little bit more, bro. So I don't know. That's my thoughts. But all around, A+ trades. Whoever got you got Gibbs and someone got Cook. Like, wow, that's crazy.
Yeah, man.
I wonder if that guy got CMC too. If he did, his team is monster. He's probably going to destroy everyone. Except for you.
Oh, man, yeah.
Really good.
Team's decent. All right, but that's enough of that. Anyways. That's not why you came here, ladies and gentlemen. We got another jam-packed show for you today. DL, there is a ton of fantasy football news. Let's get to the news.
All right.
Yeah, whole lot going on. What you got?
Whole lot going on. And in this version, I kind of put them together. I kind of put the news and the injuries together just because I was like, well, we only have that one slide. And that's really the news. So we're going to start things off. This kind of came out of nowhere, but Bucky Irving is actually gathering opinions on his lower leg injury as week 5 status is up in the air. Now, this is crazy because there has been nothing. This literally came across this week. So Tampa Bay's running back, Bucky Irving, is officially on the injury radar. He's dealing with what is being called a lower leg issue, possibly an ankle or foot injury. And right now, the status for Sunday's matchup against Seattle is up in the air. And this comes just days after Irving's breakout performance against the Eagles. He rushed for 63 yards and 15 carries, added 5 catches for 102 yards, and ripped off a 72-yard touchdown. The kid looked electric. Now, keep in mind, Irving is still rotates with Rashad White, but make no mistake. Rashad. I knew it. I knew as soon as it came out of my mouth. Rashad White. But make no mistakes, he's the lead back in his offense. He leads the Bucs in carries, rushing yards, and receptions out of the backfield. So here's what this means for fantasy managers. Monitor Wednesday's practice report. If Irving is limited or sidelined, you're going to want to look for a contingency plan because he's a 3-1 Buck. It's a 3-1 Buck team that relies on a dual threat ability, and he's out. Rashad White stocks take a nice bump. So we'll get into the waivers. I didn't see the running backs, but there are some other like deeper stashes.
Oh, there's some good ones.
Just saying. So moving on. This sucked. Tyreek Hill is out for this season, man. He torn ligaments and dislocated his knees. This is crazy because like not only is he out for the season, but there's been talks where this might be like career ending, which was nuts because if you saw him on like the card, he's like, yeah, see you later. He's like, oh, I'm out of this bitch. I don't got to play for this stupid team anymore. So yeah, he's done for the season. He was injured Monday night. He was carted off after the sideline tackle, which I don't like watching those. Like, you know, when they do the replays, I don't understand. I thought the NFL wasn't going to do that anymore. I thought they were like, yeah, let's not do that. But they showed it.
They should show it once, and that's it.
Yeah, it's just like
it's bad.
I don't know, man. So yeah, he's out.
What did they warn you? What did they say? We want to warn you. This is a very graphic injury. If you have a sensitive,
like, who wants to see
something.
it? Like, I don't want to see that shit.
I do.
I don't. It's like
I do.
I don't know. I feel bad. Anyways.
Yeah, I feel bad too. But they should show it once, and then if they show it a second time, or they should absolutely show it once and preface it by saying, you know, this is a look away if you're not ready to watch. Look at this. Blah 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 blah.
Yeah, but what's crazy is like Miami is sitting at 1-3, right? They just got their first win, and now they lost their most dangerous weapon in football. So that sucks. It's kind of like, but Wallard, man, can we talk about him? Holy shit, dude. He was ramping up. He didn't play. Finally got to play, right? Dude gets like 2 touchdowns and it's just looking like he actually looked fast. Like I was like a little shocked, but I was like, damn, the dude still got a little in the tank. So, but yeah, obviously, Jalen Waddle immediately becomes a wide receiver 1. Cedric Wilson, rookie Jalen Coker, that's pretty much your receiving core, are going to see expanded roles, of course. And we just talked about Darren Waller. So, yeah, man, bottom line, Tyreek Hill changes the entire Dolphins offense in that. Okay. In other news, we're going over to Cincinnati Bengals. Jamar Chase was frustrated by the Bengals' blowout loss to the Broncos. It didn't look like we wanted it. So on Monday night, the Bengals got embarrassed with a loss of 28-3 to the Broncos. They're now 2-2 and have been outscored 76-13 in the last 2 weeks without Joe Burrow. This sucks, especially if you have, like, I don't know, like a Chase Brown. You're not going to be able to move him. Even a Jamar Chase. I mean, I have Jamar Chase. I mean, come on. If we were going back in the draft day, like, who was the number one guy? Jamar Chase, right? So I got a lot of them. I don't know what to do with them. I could offer a trade, but I don't even know who's going to take them. Like, even if it's like, I'm not going like top tier, like maybe like one of those like wide receiver 2, maybe. I don't even see anyone pulling the trigger on that. I mean, is it time? Are we moving on from Jamar Chase? I'm moving on from Chase Brown.
Chase Brown, yes. Jamar Chase. I mean, what does it mean to move on? I'm not cutting any of these guys.
I'm not cutting. No. I would not cut Jamar Chase. No way.
But am I benching Chase Brown if I have other guys? If I have like Scatterboo and I don't know Woody Marks, yeah, Chase Brown's getting benched.
Hell yeah, he is.
He's getting benched. Jamar Chase is a wide receiver 2 now. He's not a wide receiver 1 until further notice. Like, that could change in 1 week. It's fantasy, but as of right now, it's not looking good, man. It's not looking good.
Yeah, man. So yeah, I mean. But the crazy thing is that he's like calling these people out, right? He didn't really hold back. He said, we're not capitalizing on opportunities. Urgency is there, but we gotta want it. Today, it didn't look like we wanted it. So he's like calling out his team. And then if you were watching Monday night, you actually saw they like cut to him. Like, you can see Jamar going up to the offensive coordinator, like tapping him on like the shoulder and be like, just like, what is going on? Blah, 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 blah. So bottom line, the Bengals need their quarterback back, which he's not really gonna see him anytime soon. I don't think Joe Burrow comes back this year, because that was
I think he
crazy. You think he's gonna come back?
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, I think he's projected to come back week 14, if I'm not mistaken. I have him in a few leagues. I'm a big Joe Burrow fan. He's probably
week 14, so playoffs.
Yep.
Damn.
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
I'll tell you in just a moment. I actually have I saved the report here. Estimated return on December 14th. So,
okay.
if I'm not mistaken, that puts him at week 14.
Well, T's and P's, bro, because I don't think it's happening. But here's my thought process. Like, I kind of thought, I would say it's water cooler talk. If you still have a water cooler, I don't know. But what about like Kirk Cousins? I don't understand why the Bengals just don't go after him or put together some sort of deal. So somebody, because Browning, he's not doing it, bro. He's looking horrible. Like, and that was the whole thing too, is that you were kind of hoping, because this happened last year and Jake Browning came out and like it wasn't Joe Burrow-esque, but it was still like, wow, he's getting it done. Jamar's still looking good. He's productive, yada, yada. But like, he is not looking good this year. And I mean, obviously it's the line. Like there are things where you can honestly see like defensive ends just literally just running around the line like so easily. Like they're not even trying to fucking block. It's crazy. But yeah, I don't know. What are your thoughts? Do you think they should go? Should they stick with the plan? Should they change? I don't know.
I don't know. Shakir, yeah. No, I don't know, man. Shador.
Yeah. Sure.
Yeah, I don't know. It's interesting. Where are you at on it?
I would go after Cousins, honestly. I mean, but it is the Bengals, and they're cheap. So they'd have to eat his contract, right? And then like, I don't know if that's the best option, just because like, what are you gonna do? Like, you're gonna have Kirk Cousins for like, a couple of weeks, and then Joe Burrow comes back. And now you have to pay like that would be nuts to have your backup be Kirk Cousins on a team. So I don't know, man, but they need to do something. They need to change something, because it's not working. That's like, what is it, two games now where Jake Browning just look horrible. Like, not even like, oh, okay, well, he's trying. It's like, wow, he looks like a deer in headlights. It's just not going well. So that's my thoughts. Other injuries, I just wanted to mention Malik Neighbors. This one sucked. He's out for the year because he tore his ACL during the game against the Chargers. So, man, there's a team out there, honestly. There's a team out there in fantasy land that literally has all these guys. Like, literally.
Oh, bro, I've seen tweets. I've seen them.
Could you, man, and wow, that fucking sucks. So another one that popped up was my guy Ricky Pearsall. He's dealing with an injury as well too. Almost like a lot of people said it was season ending, but it turned out it was just a minor PCL issue, not season ending, but enough to make him questionable for Thursday night against the Rams. I don't know what the 49ers are going to do. They have no one because Ricky's injured. Ricky, boys in the hood. And then you have Juan Jennings, who's like literally questionable every week with some random new injury that just popped up. So yeah, man. I mean, 49ers are in injury hell. That's all I gotta say. So
100%.
Okay. That was the news.
There's a lot of news.
Hey man.
Before we go into waivers, I actually have some quick hits. Some J observations. I got.
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah, you sent me to me earlier. I forgot about this. Yeah. All right, go ahead.
I do have a few. Some quick thoughts from watching football this past week. My first one is Max Crosby is the best defensive player in the league. He was everywhere on the football field, got his first career interception, had a sack, bunch of QB hurries, tackles for a loss against the Bears. The guy's incredible. And I think he's easily the best defensive player in the league. Omarion Hampton is a stud. He's going to finish in the top 10, probably the top 8 at the running back position in fantasy. I'm not sure if you guys got a chance to see him, but guy's electric. It reminds me a lot of Matt Forte. I just think he's a little more explosive. Big fan of Omarion Hampton. Quinshon Judkins.
Doesn't he have better breakaway speed too?
That's it. That's exactly it. I think the guy has I think he's just faster. He gets to the end zone. It's something that Forte had earlier in his career, and then kind of as the career went on, he kind of lost that step. Quinshon Judkins is a stud as well. I'm seeing a top 15 finish, however you slice it, the rest of the way at the running back position. Quentin Johnston is the wide receiver 1 on the Chargers, and Ladd McConkey, as of right now, is the wide receiver 3. Sad McConkey is his new name. Woody Marks is this week's top waiver wire ad, and it's not close, and we'll get to that and tell you why. But I don't know if you guys got a chance to see that game. He got every game this season. His touches have been increasing. His snaps have been going up, and this week he looked really, really explosive in that Texans offense. He just has something that unfortunately Chubb no longer has. It's just faster and quicker, gets to the hole, and he can catch the ball. So
yeah. My thought on that is that like I saw that coming. So in my like deeper league, my 14-man league, like I literally dropped Woody Marks. And then I was like, oh, man, I just have a feeling about this kid. So I picked him back up. No one touched him. I was like, hell yeah. Lucky. Now I'm like, oh, here we go.
Lucky.
Woody Marks time.
Yeah.
Because, like, I think everyone kind of had that thought anyways. They're like, Nick Chubb, like, he's just kind of a shell of a player, which sucks. I love Nick Chubb. I think he's awesome. And it sucks to see him, like, you know, not dominate like he used to. But, I mean, it's weird watching like some of these guys that we've been saying for like years, they're starting to fade, and now we're getting like, I mean, it's just the way of the NFL, not for long, right? But yeah, Woody Marks probably the guy to add. This week, top
RB2. I think RB2 is the floor. The floor. I think he's got high RB2 upside. We'll see though. We'll see, because that whole offense kind of out of whack, you know. So we'll see. With Malik Neighbors out, Wando Robinson and Darius Slayton are interesting names. I think it's Darius Slayton time. That's what I think. But keep in mind, okay, this past week Jackson Dart started, and he's going to start the rest of the season. And it looks like they're not, they're keeping him on a tight leash. Let's say he had 111 passing yards, if I'm not mistaken, 50 rushing yards, and a rushing touchdown. So he's not going to pass the ball a ton. So don't expect them to, be great or have flex appeal every single week. I don't think that's going to be the case. Drake May will finish in the top 10 at the quarterback position. I believe he'll finish in the top 7. He has top 5 upside every single week moving forward. Bench running backs versus the Browns. Bench them all against the Browns. Between David Montgomery, Josh Jacobs, Chase Brown, they had 57 carries between those running backs for a total of 108 yards.
Oh, a total?
57 carries for a total of 108 rushing yards against the Browns. They have an elite rush defense. I don't want to start any running backs against the Browns. And lastly, Darren Waller lined up at wide receiver this past week for 88% of his snaps on Monday night. Do with that what you will. I think Darren Waller is going to be a wide receiver playing tight end. And we already knew he was going to do that, but I really like his upside moving forward. If you're struggling at tight end, which is about 6 teams in every league. 6 teams in every league don't know what the hell they're doing at tight end.
What about Fab? Fab. Oh, maybe we'll get that into waivers.
Yeah, we'll get into that. I'm not sure. Did you throw in a number for him? Because I got a number for you if you didn't.
Like percentage or like? Yeah, I would.
Yeah, how much?
I would probably put in like. I kind of go heavy on him. 50%.
That's a lot. Holy shit, that's a lot.
Wow,
I'm leaning more at. No, that's fair. No. Hey, that's fair. I'm thinking more like 30 or 40% of your fab. But if you really need a tight end, this is your one chance at it. I get it.
Well, not to mention who's all on buys this week. This is our first bye week. So I know the Bears are on bye. Green Bay's on bye. There's like 2 other teams where I was just like, holy crap.
Yeah, so it's the Steelers, the Bears, the Packers, and the Falcons.
Damn.
So a lot of good players. You're going to be without Jalen Warren, without Metcalf. On the Steelers, on the Bears, no DJ Moore, no Rome Odunze, no Caleb Williams, no DeAndre Swift. For the Packers, you're without Jordan Love, no Josh Jacobs, no Matthew Golden, no Dubs, none of those guys. And then for the Falcons, you're without Penix, you're without Drake London, no Mooney, no Pitts. There's a lot of guys that are not Bajan. Yes, good call. 100%.
Like Bajan, you're probably like, fuck me. Yeah. Although, I mean, if you do have those plays, it's kind of nice because you're getting out of the way early. So it's not like those crucial, like I would say like week, 8, 10, kind of like, you're still fighting to get into like the top, whatever. And that's usually when it sucks the most because depending on your record, I mean, it's still somewhat early where you could probably, I don't even want to say that. I don't think it's that early anymore. I think we're in the thick of it. There's no more you can take any more losses, especially if you're like 1-3. Like, fuck. But yeah. Cool.
Yeah. All right, DL. Let's get to the waivers.
All right, so I'm going to start things off with QB. Starting things off with Tua Tagovailoa for the Dolphins. He's rostered at 48%. Next game he goes up against the Jets, and they're dog track. They're just horrible. Jets suck. Their defense is not good, and they can't help but shooting themselves in the foot. So, anyways, Tua gave us a mixed bag in Week 4. Wait, they just played the Jets. Anyways, that's not his next game. My bad. With 177 yards, touchdown, Darren Waller absolutely popped off in his Dolphins debut with 2 scores. The good news. The bad news, Tyreek Hill is done, which we talked about. I trust Tua to be like a low end starter in Week 5 because he's going against the Panthers. That's why I was excited. Okay. And Carolina just let Drake May, which you mentioned, JC, drop 27 fantasy points on them. So this is a juicy matchup, if I must say myself. Tua is a borderline QB1 this week. And if he's on your waiver wire, I would spend close at like maybe 5% on the fab to grab him. Okay, moving on. Marcus Mariota for the Commanders. He's rostered at 20%. He will be going up against the Chargers this week. One thing to kind of keep in mind is just pay attention to Jaden. just because he's not officially out. He's just questionable. So Marcus Mariota dropped 20 points against Atlanta in week 4. And get this, he's hit at least 20 in all 4 of his appearances with Washington over the past 2 seasons. 20 points, folks. Now, keep an eye on Jaden Daniels' knee. If he's back in week 5 against the Chargers, Mariota takes a back seat. But if Mariota gets the start again, he's a low-end QB1 option across all leagues. If you're hunting at quarterback, I'd throw around 5% of your fab to stash him. And then we're going to jump over to New York. Jackson Dart, which we've kind of already talked about a little bit. He's rostered at 49%. That's why I put him on him, just because, let's talk about Dart. Honestly, he'll be at the very top of this week's list if, which he did. Neighbors went down. That's a huge loss, and it stinks because Neighbors was going to be his go-to guy all season. That said, Dart still has weapons with Darius Slayton, Wan'Dale Robinson, Theo Johnson, plus the backs out of the backfield. And the big thing, he can run. Last week against the Chargers, he carried it for 10 times for 54 yards. That rush upside makes him fantasy relevant. In week 5, he's a borderline starter against the Saints. But fair warning, after that, his schedule gets brutal with Philly twice in Denver. Still, he's worth a stash. I'd put about 5% of fab on him. So wrapping things up for the QB waivers, I'm going to talk about Sam Darnold. He's a QB for the obviously Seahawks. He's rostered at 34%. He's going to be going up against the Buccaneers. Sam Darnold has been solid in real life, but for fantasy, the ceiling just hasn't been there yet. He's put up at least 18 points in 3 start games, with his best outing being 20.7 against the Saints in week 3. The volume is just the issue. He's only averaging about 25 passing attempts a game. Now, week 5 against Tampa could turn into a shootout, which makes him interesting. And week 6 at Jacksonville is another favorable matchup. Right now, I see Darnold as a low-end starter in deeper leagues. So this be your 14-man deep league kind of guide to stream or add. Not a must start, but if you're in need of a QB, I'd spend about 5% of your fab. So, JC, any thoughts? Anything to add?
Yeah, I mean, I don't like a lot of the names. I don't like Mariota against the Chargers. I don't like that one too much. I'm not too big of a fan of Jackson Dart just yet, but I do like the matchup. So if he's going to go off, this is a good week for him to run and be solid. Darnold against the Bucks is, I think that's a solid guy. Guy who's going to give you 15 to 20 points, hopefully. And then Tua, you never know what you're going to get there. He just lost Tyreek Hill, as you talked about earlier in the notes. When you went over the injuries, I don't know, man. I think of all these guys, that the safest bet is Darnold. The guy with the highest upside is probably going to be Jackson Dart, and that's
it's a little rough. Not gonna lie, a little rough on QBs. It was harder to put them again because there's some guys honorable mentions. There's Carson Wentz. You had. I mean, that was the only one I was just like, I'm not even going to talk about him. So yeah, waiver wire for QBs this week is horrible, which sucks for me because in one of our leagues, I really need quarterbacks.
Yeah, I know.
So bad. And Anyway.
Yeah, let's jump over to running backs.
Okay.
The first running back we're going to go ahead and recommend is Woody Marks. And we think he's, we know he's the top waiver wire ad for fantasy this week. He gets the Ravens and their defense. They're hurt, and the defense against the run is not good. It's one of the worst in the NFL. We're recommending a budget spend of between 60 and 65% of your fab budget. So if you have $100, $60 to $65 is what you're spending. Marks is absolutely heating up. In week 4, he logged 21 touches and a 56.3% snap share, while Nick Chubb posted a season low in snap usage. Marks should be your top running back ad, and we're ranking him as RB2 moving forward in fantasy. Next guy we're going to recommend is Kenneth Gainwell of the Steelers. He's on a bye week, so maybe you can sneak in there and grab him. He is rostered in 32% of leagues. We're recommending a 20% of fab budget spend. With Jaylen Warren out, Gainwell exploded in week 4 for 134 yards from scrimmage and 2 touchdowns. We think he's going to be a great add and a guy who's probably going to factor in the running back room moving forward. I don't think Gainwell will take the job from Jaylen Warren, but I do believe it'll be a 60-40 split. Jaylen Warren getting 60% of the touches and Kenneth Gainwell getting 40% of the touches. So Kenneth Gainwell will definitely have flex appeal throughout the rest of the season. And if for any reason Jaylen Warren was to go down, Kenneth Gainwell could be a league winner. Next guy we're going to recommend is Kendre Miller. He's a Saints running back, and he goes up against the Giants. He's rostered in about 10% of fantasy leagues, and we're recommending about a 15 to 18% budget spend on Kendre Miller. Now, Miller's getting more opportunity. In week 4, he rushed for 65 yards and a touchdown on 11 carries as part of the split with Alvin Kamara. We're thinking he could be a flex play moving forward. Not every week, but most weeks. And here's the kicker. There are rumors swirling that Alvin Kamara might get traded. So if he were to get traded, you're talking about another potential league winner in Kendre Miller if he takes the job. We've been recommending Kendre Miller for years now, and this year he's finally healthy. So if he's out there, go get him. Final running back we're going to recommend is Justice Hill of the Ravens. His next game is against the Texans, and he's rostered in about 12% of fantasy leagues. We're recommending between 7 to 10% of your fab budget on Justice Hill. Now, Hill took over. He took advantage of injuries in Baltimore. He put up 117 total yards and 2 touchdowns, playing over 50% of the snaps this past week. We think he's a good running back to add, and another guy that, if for any reason Derrick Henry were to go down, Justice Hill could be a league winner. DL?
Okay, so have some thoughts. All right,
yeah.
So I'm going to back it up. We're going to go with Kenneth Gainwell, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think the fab recommendation, I think you can get him on the cheaper because they are on a bye this week. So you might be able to scoop him for just a little bit less. So I would, because I don't think everyone, especially with other teams that really need someone to start this week, I don't think they're going to be targeting Kenneth Gainwell. I think that's like a luxury if you're doing well at running back. So just thought there. My other thought was Kendre Miller, right? Now, this guy is definitely a stash dude, I feel like, right? Because this is what I see, right? The Saints, they're done, right? I know you got Alvin Kamara, right? The running back, which they extended, right? So I think this is a sneaky stash just because, if I was the Saints, why would I want to, burn out my best running back on a season that, honestly, probably isn't going to do much? I would probably want to see what I have in Kendre Miller, right? So I could see his production actually going up quite a bit just because of the simple fact of, why would you want to, once again, hurt your best running back, right? And not to mention Alvin Kamara is getting a little long in the tooth, right? So why not just go ahead and let's see what Kendre Miller can do. Let's throw him in there.
100%.
Let's give Alvin Kamara a little rest.
The team's going nowhere, right?
It's going nowhere.
It's exactly what the Giants did. They switched out Russell Wilson to Jackson Dart to see what they got. You got to know what you got because you're thinking about the future. It's not just this year. You got to know what you got in the future.
Well, and Brian Dable's on the hot seat. Right?
Yeah, that's it.
He's just sorry, Russ. I loved you in Seattle, but I don't want to lose my job. So
that's right.
I think that. So that was just my thought about that. Kendre Miller, I'm very interested in just because of that thing. I'm not saying it's gonna happen. I'm not even saying the Saints are yeah, that's a good idea. You could still see a lot of Alvin Kamara. But also keep in mind Taysom Hill's coming back too. So I feel like
he'll have some play somehow, some way. You think they'll put him at quarter? You know what? Now that you bring that up, sneaky guy to add. Do you know when he comes back by chance?
I think this week, bro.
No way. Let me look real quick.
I swear to God. He's there's been reports that oh yeah, Taysom Hill.
You're right. He's okay. Taysom Hill's return timeline is uncertain after a chest injury and a torn ACL late last season. However, the Saints recently opened a 21-day window for him to return to practice on September 29th. Is he on IR? That's an interesting guy to add, DL.
Yeah.
For next to nothing. And you don't know what could happen, you know.
Well, what I was about to say too is that I remember when I was managing Alvin Kamara, like in Taysom Hill, that whole thing, like I was so pissed because they'd get up to like the goal line and guess who? Big old dumb giant came running in. I was like, oh, here we go.
Big old
This
giant.
motherfucker. And every time he just, I'm taking a run in. I'm like, you son of a gun, you vulturing bastard. I gotta quit swearing. But yeah, that's I'm saying the Saints are interesting because their seasons. I don't know. I mean, what are you playing for, really? So why not 100%. Kick the tires a little bit, see what you got?
Tight end eligibility. With the team going nowhere, there's a chance that he'll get quarterback snaps and you'll get quarterback points from a tight end. Great observation by you, DL. It might not happen, but
it's always moving. You know, some people think I don't know ball. You know, some people think that I'm an easy target.
Yeah.
I'm here to let you know. I'm not, you sons of.
You know what? Let's recommend it. We would say like a 3 to 5% budget spend on Taysom Hill. I don't think nobody is talking about it.
I know.
I haven't seen it anywhere.
You get him on the cheap.
So get him for the low. Is he IR eligible still? Let me look that up. Because if he is, you could throw him on your IR.
Yeah. You know what? I might target the fuck out of Taysom Hill because you can start him anywhere. You can start him at quarterback.
You could put him on the IR. Well,
there you go.
Tight end in our league in ESPN, but other leagues he has multiple position eligibility, so you could throw him in tight end. You're not getting any points out of there anyway. So for most teams,
fuck it.
Maybe you could get passing. You know,
if you're desperate, bro. If you're like 1-3, smart, and like you're getting beat on the waivers, not a bad guy to bring up. Speaking of other tight ends to add, we're gonna start things off with Darren Waller, right? He's obviously the tight end for the Dolphins. He's rostered at 14%. I feel like this is going to be your top ad. And good luck because he's a brand that everyone knows. Everyone is comfortable with him. He used to be one of the top 10 tight ends. So it's going to be hard to get him. So if look at your waiver priority, I would put him there if you're hurting at tight end. So he made his debut in week 4 against the Jets, and he wasted no time making an impact. 3 catches for 27 yards and 2 touchdowns on just 4 targets. That's efficiency. 4 targets. And this dude was hauling them in. Now, here's where it gets interesting. Tyreek Hill left the game with a knee injury. If he misses time, which he's done, so he will be. Waller's stock is going to skyrocket. And that's what I'm saying. Like, people are going to go after him. Remember last year when Jonnu Smith averaged 13 PPR points per game in the same season? Waller has a legit must-start upside for the rest of the season. If he's on your waiver wire, he needs to be rostered. I'd spend at least 15% on Fab to grab him. So there you go. Good luck, phony homies. Hopefully you win the sweepstakes. The next guy we're going to talk about is Mason Taylor of the Jets. He's only 10% rostered. He's going up against Dallas, which is juicy. But rookie wideout Taylor just had the best game of his young career in week 4 against Miami for 5 catches, 65 yards on 7 targets, and it might be a sign for things to come. Over his last 2 games, he's got 9 catches on 13 targets, and he looks like he's carving out the number 2 role behind Garrett Wilson in the Jets passing game. Now remember, this is still a low volume offense with Justin Fields at quarterback, so the ceiling isn't huge, but heading into a nice week 5 matchup against the Cowboys, Taylor's a sneaky low-end starter in deep leagues worth about 1% of your fab. This guy keeps making it onto our list. Brenton Strange for the Jaguars. Strange continues to be a reliable target. He caught 6 passes for 45 yards in week 4 and is tied for 5th among tight end receptions. With Jacksonville's passing volume, Strange has a strong floor and a decent upside. Okay. Going over to the 49ers, we got Jake Tongs. He's filling in for George Kittle. So this probably might be his last game, right? Because George Kittle's coming back week 5. Praise the Lord. Tong caught 3 passes for 58 yards and a touchdown. With Kittle still recovering, Tongs offers a short-term tight end upside 1. So there you go. And we're going to wrap things up with Tommy Tribble. He's on the Panthers, and guess what, guys? 0% rostered, which makes sense because I didn't know his name until this week. He's going against the Dolphins. So Tommy came through in week 4, filling in for Jatavian Sanders against the Patriots. 5 catches, 42 yards, and a touchdown on 8 targets, which is solid production, if you ask me. Now, Sanders is likely out again in week 5, and the Dolphins have actually struggled against tight ends this year. Jalen Coker might make his season debut, but Tremble should still see enough work to be a viable streaming option. We're going to recommend if you're desperate at tight end, he's worth a stash. I toss about 1% of your fab for it. And that'd be them tight ends.
I like them. There's some guys on here, man, that are interesting. Brenton Strange is interesting. Mason Taylor had a decent game, had some transaction movement, let's say. There was some passes coming his way. He was involved. And then Waller, I don't know, man. An enigma. I don't know what that rapper turned tight end is gonna do, but it's gonna be interesting.
The thing about that is, like, it's kind of weird. 2 thoughts, right? Number 1, it's kind of like we're doing a reverse here. Like, it used to be tight end wasteland, right? Now it's like running back wasteland. It's like, holy crap, can I get somebody who can get me something, right? So there's that thought. The other thought I have is with Darren Waller is Darren Waller is that, like, yeah, he had an amazing game against the Jets, but does he come back down to earth? You know what I mean?
I do.
But at the same time, the Dolphins, like, offense, like, I mean, we've been saying it all throughout the show, without Reek, man, like, someone's gonna have to step up, and it might as well be him. But yeah, tight ends, there's some out there that are streamable for sure. Maybe like sneaky stashes.
Man, I like it. All right, let's jump over to wide receivers. Yeah, let's jump over to wide receivers. The first wide receiver we're going to recommend is Romeo Doubs, and he plays for the Packers. He goes up against nobody this week because they're on bye. So he's rostering about 30 to 35% of fantasy leagues. We're recommending about a 15% fab budget spend. Doubs he remains a strong deep threat play. He's going to be a flex guy. The real reason why we're telling you to add him is because he had a touchdown this past week, and it looks like he happens to be a guy that Jordan Love likes to throw the ball to in the red zone. So Romeo Doubs, if he's out there, go get him. Next guy we're going to recommend is Malik Washington. This is a guy I'm excited to see. Because of the Tyreek Hill injury, he gets an opportunity now here to take over, as a wide receiver too, because Jalen Waddle is still there. Malik Washington of the Dolphins goes up against the Panthers this week. We're recommending about a 10% fab budget spend. Look, the Dolphins are not a good team. They're going to be playing from behind in a lot of games, and Tua's going to be throwing the ball. We just think that Malik Washington's going to get opportunities. He's a very, very explosive player. When you guys see him, he's going to remind you a little bit of Calvin Austin and Tyreek Hill, guys like that. He's fast. So it's going to be exciting to see what he could do. A guy who's going to have some crazy weeks and then some bad weeks. Malik Washington, if he's out there, you can get him, $10. Next guy we're going to recommend is Darius Slayton of the Giants. He goes up against the Saints this week. He's rostering about 5% of fantasy leagues, and we're recommending about a 10% fab budget spend. The real reason why we're recommending him is Malik Neighbors is out for the rest of the year. So somebody has to get those targets. It's going to be between Wan'Dale Robinson and Darius Slayton. I happen to think it's going to be Slayton time. So we'll see. I think Slayton will have flex appeal throughout the season, but I don't know how much Jackson Dart's going to be throwing the ball. So, add him if you can. Bench him for a week, see what he does, and maybe you luck into a flex wide receiver. And the last guy we're going to recommend is Matthew Golden of the Packers. Now, I don't think he's going to be available in too many fantasy leagues. He does have a bye week this week for the Packers. We're recommending about a 7 to 10 fab budget spend if he's available. The reason why we're recommending him is because he finally had a good week this past week and had double-digit points in PPR leagues. So he's starting to accumulate volume. He's starting to come on. Sometimes wide receivers take a little bit of time when they're rookies, and it looks like he's starting to become the go-to target for Jordan Love and the Packers. So if Matthew Golden's out there, go get him. He could be another flex guy with more upside than that. I think he has wide receiver 2 upside if he becomes what we think he can, which could be the go-to guy for the Packers. Dale, what are your thoughts on those guys?
I like him a lot. Like Malik Washington, I had to drop him because I did that trade. I was like, oh yeah, I'll just drop this guy, and that was before the Tariq injury. So I'm a little bit bummed because I had him, and now I lost him. But I agree with that one. Yeah, the Giants wide receivers. Here's the thing, like Wan'Dale Robinson, right? We were talking so much about him, like I think it was last week. He was like getting targeted like so much. You're like, all right, like he's getting the targets. He's not going deep, but he's got that floor. And then last game, I think he was targeted 3 times. So I was like, son of a gun, what is happening? So I agree. Darius Slayton, I think, is going to be the more appeal, if you will, but absolutely, I don't see Dart like ripping it down the field for that. Or if he does, man, you better hope and pray he can Slayton can like haul that in. Now Matthew Golden, I think he finally got his first touchdown, if I'm not mistaken, last game. There's a bye, so you might be able, if he's out there, which I think a lot of people did draft him, so I would be shocked if there's a lot out there. Yeah, but would you trade for Matthew Golden is the real question.
I don't know. I don't know what I could give up. Maybe a quarterback's on a bye, and you can give up if you have 2 quarterbacks, you can give up a quarterback for Golden, or maybe you could give up like a backup handcuff running back for Golden. I don't know what you could give up for him. Depends on the league, what a manager needs.
Yeah, well, and that brings another point too, is because like a lot of these managers, right? Like, especially if they drafted, and we say this all the time, don't fall in love with your guys. Like, for example, I had CMC, the best running back ever. It was like, well, I got to move on, bro, because I'm not going to win, right? And that's what the reason why I'm bringing that up is if you did draft him, right? Like some of the managers are like who are hurting, but they drafted Golden, let's say like in the 4th round or something crazy like that. It's going to be hard to kind of like pry him apart, but I think you could honestly trade for him, like maybe like a flex, like a wide receiver 2, maybe buy low is what I'm trying to get at.
For Golden?
Yeah. The only thing I would say this is that the Packers are very interesting because like we were talking about this before we went live, is that I feel like with the Packers, it's going to be like one of those weeks where it's a Romeo Doubs week. Oh my gosh, he did so well. Like there he is. And the following week, it's going to be a Josh Jacobs. And then it's going to be this like rotation of like their players going off. So that would be my only like cautionary advice, is that like he's not going to be like the guy where he's constantly getting targeted and he's just destroying people, because Green Bay is really doing good at like spreading the ball, like spreading it very well.
Yeah, it's true.
So there's that would be guy,
maybe Tucker Kraft, right?
Yeah, and then there's Tucker Kraft too, who's like he's like popping his knee in like halfway. He's like, all right.
Yo, what a monster that guy is.
I said it during the draft episode. I was like, man, Tucker Kraft, bro, he's gonna be the guy.
Yeah.
And hopefully people out there listened. So
real quick, we do want to recommend a defense, as we usually do. The Cardinals play against the Titans, the worst team in the NFL, or second worst in the NFL. We're recommending, just a few fab budget dollars, 2 to 5 for it. And it's because the Titans are still searching for their offensive identity. They don't really have one yet. Cam Ward's been pretty shaky. Definitely think this is a good week for the Cardinals defense to put up some good points and give you double-digit points in the defense position.
All right.
Yeah, really quick. I wanted to give.
Hold on. We got a question.
Yeah,
a trade question. So here we go. It's from AJ. I don't know if I messed up or not, but I just traded JSN and Mbuka for Jamar Chase and Nico Collins. My thought is this. Let's see. So JSN, that's kind of a hit. I don't know. I feel like it's kind of fair because here's my thing. Emeka. Okay. So anyways, my thought is that as we said kind of earlier in the show, that like he's probably not going to see a lot of targets once Mike Evans comes back. Chris Godwin has come back. He didn't have like the best game, but obviously it's his first game back, knocking that rust off. So I think Mbuka, you're going to start slowly but surely seeing his like production kind of dwindle down. So I feel like it's kind of a fair trade because with Jamar Chase, he's Jamar Chase, dude. Like they're going to figure it out. They're going to figure out a way to get him the ball. So I feel like that's an upside. JSN, I'm really high on. I think he's going to finish probably like top 10 wide receiver this year. That's just my thoughts. Nico Collins, the only thing that sucks is like, man, CJ Stroud just is not like, I don't know. He just looks like pretty mid to me this year. Like I don't really see like an upside to that. But
just to go off of that, Josina Anderson, everyone should follow her. I hate following her, but I love following her. She dropped a little bit of a nugget. She likes to do this. And she said in her tweet, I'm going to paraphrase here, that when the truth comes out about what's going on and for the Texans, everyone will understand why CJ Stroud is playing the way he's playing. I'm guessing, and what a lot of the comments from Texans fans were saying, take that with a grain of salt, is that there is a rift between the coaching staff and CJ Stroud. I think specifically the offensive coordinator and CJ Stroud. He's wanting to do one thing and CJ Stroud wants to do another, and they're just kind of butting heads. So I don't think Stroud is really this mid, I guess. He's not bad, but he hasn't been what we think he is,
Dude, he wasn't like, okay. So put a bow on your question before we get too deep into our thoughts. No, you didn't mess up. I think on both sides, everyone kind of took a little bit of a loss here, but I don't think it's like, oh my gosh, like you're not good at fantasy.
Yeah. I don't think this is going to make or break your team. I understand your point and why you did it. JSN right now is producing more than any other receiver in this trade. But you were afraid that Emeka is going to lose his value when Mike Evans and Chris Godwin come back. So I understand why you traded Emeka, because he's doing well. And you're trying to buy low on Jamar Chase and get Nico, who's equivalent to JSN, if not better, right? So is Jamar. He's better, but he doesn't have the quarterback. So there's a lot of working parts here. I think it could be a wash, to be honest with you.
Yeah, that's what I was going to.
But if I had to pick a side on talent, just based on talent, I'm going to go Jamar and Nico. But football is about what you could do in the future. I think Jamar and Nico obviously have higher upsides than JSN and Emeka. So if you're doing it to try to shoot for the stars, I understand it. The players I guess the deal with the higher floor is JSN and Emeka, just based on what they've done so far this year. I don't hate it, but I don't love it. Sometimes people trade to trade. Sometimes you're just giving up. Like last week, I traded Etienne for Kenneth Walker. They're the same fucking guy. Like there was no real reason to make the trade, to be honest with you. Sometimes you just
trade. You had FOMO?
You don't have to. Yeah, you see other deals. This is an example of just trading the trade to me. But I understand his side on Emeka. I guarantee you this week, JSN and Emeka will outscore Jamar and Nico. I guarantee you this week. But if you take the points they have from right now and where they finish, I think Jamar and Nico finish better.
For sure. I agree with that. Rolling it back to the Texans and CJ Stroud, my whole thing is that, like, I think his rookie year, he was amazing, right? Like, I definitely took a lot of stock in him. He helped me get to the playoffs. Didn't help me win because all of a sudden he had a slump. But, like, even, like, last year, like, he played against the Bears. He did really well. And then all of a sudden, like, it just went to shit. And that's when he had, like, Tank. He had Tank, he had Nico. They were rolling. But, like, I just felt like last year and this year, like, they just can't get, like, it's kind of like when you're trying to start a car, like, it almost turns over. But then it just dies, and you're like, "What the fuck?"
And
you're like, "Okay."
As soon as you said a car, I was like, "Oh, I know what he's gonna say."
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. It's like, all right, I'm gonna pump the gas. Wait, don't pump too much gas because I don't want to flood the engine. That's where I feel it's at. It's like You're trying to get it to start. You don't want to go crazy, but at the same time, it's like, what? It doesn't make sense because CJ Stroud had like such an amazing sophomore campaign. I feel like, or no, I'm sorry, such an amazing rookie year, I would say.
Yeah, 100%.
Anyways,
agree with you. Agree. All right, real quick, I wanted to give some trade advice because we're in like the trade season right now.
It is, man.
You a few bullet points, a few things to look out for to do to try to come up on some trades if you can. So right about now, you have a bunch of haves and have-nots. Okay, so depending on where you are, you can use some of these tips, and then I'll bounce some of these ideas off of you, and you tell me what you think. So there's going to be some teams right now that are 0-4 or 1-3. Okay. It's important to look at those teams and see if they have players on buys because they're freaking out. They know they can't lose another game. When in reality, they can probably lose one more game. Okay. Try to trade if you're one of the best teams for those bye week players and try to just give them anyone, that they can start. Be cautious, be fair about it, but also, that's the kind of way you do it. I'll give you an example. This week, the Josh Jacobs is on a bye, okay? And I have Kenneth Walker. I'd rather have Josh Jacobs, but I offered Kenneth Walker for Josh Jacobs, okay? Because he's playing. Kenneth Walker's playing. That's the kind of thing you could do. You're giving 90 cents for $1, 85 cents for $1, so you can continue to build these players up and get better players. That's a huge piece of advice I'll give you when it comes to that. Another thing you can do is start looking weeks in advance, okay? I'm looking at teams right now, and I'm seeing that, they're going to be without a bunch of players. And then I'm reaching out to those managers and saying, hey, next week, I know we're not there yet. In 2 weeks, you're going to be without a quarterback. You're going to be without a tight end. You're going to be without a running back. What do you think about, if I give you 2 guys right now before, and plant those seeds? They might say no right now. But when that week happens, they're going to remember that you came first for an offer, and they're going to value your offer, your trade offers with more, Another thing I'll tell you to do, look at the waiver wire. I know you don't need a backup quarterback right now, but if there's one out there and you can screw some of your other teammates that are in the league and they need quarterbacks, go get them and try to trade that quarterback to them. That's another huge thing. And lastly, stream defenses. I can't emphasize this enough. Pick up 2 defenses if you have a shitty wide receiver that you're never going to start. Cut them and go get another defense if you know you're going to use them in a week or 2. Use 2 defenses if you have to. Defenses can win you weeks. Absolutely do that. Go get those guys.
Yeah, that's solid. I usually talk about the defense more towards like when we get to playoffs to like start looking ahead at weeks and like who's going to be what. But I absolutely agree with that. Like I draft a defense, but I don't fall in love with them. I'm not like, oh my gosh, like I let go of Denver's defense. I was like, whatever. Like ranking wise, like this particular defense was gonna have a better week, right? And they can absolutely help you win. Like last week, I got 14 points from my defense just to kind of solidify. So I absolutely agree with that. When it comes to trading, yeah, I mean, you want to look at your team overall and see where your, obviously your weak points are, and then go ahead. Sucks because in one of my leagues, I'm on bottom feeder. And like, I'm desperate as shit right now. I was like, okay, how do I turn this around? How do I get at least good enough to like get a little bit out of the basement, right? So obviously I traded like CMC, like because I'm like, all right, I need to fill these gaps because I'm not going to find it on the waiver. And that's the thing too, is that like with waiver wire, like, you can fill some of these, but it's like a 50-50 shot. Because you could add a guy and they could suck.
You don't know. Let me give you something else.
Okay.
Try to trade. If you have handcuffs, maybe you have like right now. I don't have Bijan Robinson. I don't have him.
A good point.
But I have Algier. Okay, and I've been bugging the Bijan Robinson manager the entire year, saying, "Hey, bro, I have him. What's it going to take? Do you want him? Use those handcuffs and try to trade them to the guys who have them, and try to get a player out of it. See what you can do. Obviously, those guys could be league winners, but you don't have time to sit here and wait to see if that happens. If you're 1-3, 0-4, trade that handcuff and try to get somebody that you can start in your flex. whoever that handcuff is. I only picked up Woody Marks because I thought Chubb wasn't playing well. I'm like, I'll pick up a handcuff. That was my initial idea. I'll just pick up a handcuff, and if Chubb gets hurt, then the guy who has Chubb's going to want Woody Marks. That was it. Come to find out, it worked out. But use that to your advantage. I know these things sound really simple, really easy, but that's how you win these damn leagues, man. I took Kareem Hunt, who I added, and I turned him into Chris Olave, and then I turned Chris Olave into Jahmyr Gibbs in a package deal. And that was just because I was active on the waiver wire. That's it. Not because I know more than anybody, not because no other reason. I just took a nickel, turned it into 10 cents, turned it into 15 cents, 25 cents, 50 cents, and then I got $1 out of it. You can do that too. Your year is not over.
Or even like a Blake Corum, right?
Yeah, great guy. I need him. Yeah.
So there's so that's another thing too, is like running backs is probably the most injury prone position on fantasy. So yeah, like even if you're doing well, you're like, I don't really need one. Look and see who, like, if these handcuffs are available, because if you got room on your bench, absolutely store them, because what's going to happen is like someone's going to freak out. At that point, they're going to be like, I don't know what to do. Like, and you can definitely turn 50 cents into $1 or what have you.
Slowly,
slowly. Like, yeah, I wouldn't go and be like, hey, you want this? Like,
Olave for, Jahmyr Gibbs. No, that's not how that works, but
no.
Slow,
slowly but surely. And even like Quentin Johnson, like I have him in one of my leagues. I'm like thinking like, and I don't need him. Like he's sat on my bench for the last 2 weeks, which is dumb.
Not anymore.
Because not anymore. I'm gonna start that motherfucker. But at the same time, I could honestly, like, if there's somebody who just lost Neighbors or just lost Tariq, I can be like, hey man, here's Quentin Johnson. Like, look, here he is. Like, he is the guy right now. And I don't know, give me James Cook. Why not?
Or give me CeeDee Lamb, who's hurt right now.
Yeah.
What's the CeeDee Lamb going to do? He's freaking out. He's going to miss him for another week or two. Like, you can probably get CeeDee for Quentin Johnston. Those deals are out there. And lastly, don't be afraid to trade. A lot of times people get this paralysis by analysis. They just are afraid to lose a deal. You can't be afraid to lose a deal, because if you're afraid to lose a deal, you'll never win.
Exactly. And now, I mean, like I said, the CMC thing, like, did I really like win that? No, I did not win the deal. However, I do have upside because I solidified different positions, right? And be willing, like, it's give and take. It's give and take with trades, right? Like, I'm not saying like, if someone offers you like half their bench for like a guy, you're like, oh, okay, like I should do that. And like, no, get value, but keep in mind that like you're not gonna get, like, I think I offered I had CMC, I went for like Justin Jefferson and like, I don't know, like Derrick Henry, right? Like, knowing that I wasn't going to get that. I knew I wasn't going to get that, but at least it starts a conversation, and you can at least like kind of pivot and move it forward and try to get the best value out of that guy to help you win. Don't fall in love with these players. Forget 100%. The draft. Forget the draft. The draft is over. It's done. You got them. But if your team is like 1-3 and you're kind of like, man, you're dumpster fire, like, now's the time. Like, you got to move them. You just got to move them if 100%. You want, and you can win. You can honestly win, because all it takes is like a decent trade and maybe a couple hits on the waiver, and you're all of a sudden your team is 100%. Keep in mind, in fantasy, you don't win when you draft, right? Like, you're the team that you start with, it's not going to be the same team that you end with ever. I've been doing this for a while. I don't think I've ever drafted a team and went all the way, didn't grab anyone off the waivers. It's just impossible. Absolutely impossible.
100%.
Anyways.
100%. Okay. Good advice, Dale. That's good advice. I do agree with all of it. All right. Well, that's it for today's episode, Phony Homies.
Wait, any defenses? Yeah. Any defenses?
Oh, yeah. No, we did. We recommended Arizona's against Tennessee this week.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
All right.
That's it for today's show. Remember to shoot your start sit questions to us by tweeting us, DL.
Tweet FFG.
And use the hashtag, as always, DL.
Ask us FFG.
And lastly, you could send those fantasy questions to us via email, DL. Where at?
At askusffg@gmail.com.
That's right. I'm not going to give my phone number on this one. They already have it. I'm getting weird spam calls from China. So, no. Thanks for tuning in, phony homies. Thanks to DL for his awesome fantasy football advice. My name's JC. We'll catch you on Thursday's episode of the Fake Football Guys Show. Like, share, subscribe, and
smash
that notification button. Peace. And go Cubs.
Bear down, baby.